Lovebug Tarot. Welcome back, my fellow tarot goblins, and if you're new, welcome in. So today we're going to be using our grid, our divination grid, and we're going to be looking at the week ahead. So as always, we're going to grab an affirmation card, our very sassy affirmation deck, and I'm going to shuffle this. There are timestamps in the description, of course, if you just want to skip ahead to the read, but when I'm laying out the grid, ooh, see that? When I'm laying out the grid, sometimes things come through, so just giving a heads up. All right, find a spot there. And I do ask clarifiers from the tarot, and also we have some runes here, both Celtic and Norse runes. So we use those as well. So we use a bunch of different things. Okay, so I'm going to put this over here, and we are going to get into the shuffling of the deck. And this is a smaller deck in just volume, I guess. There's only 50 cards in this deck. However, each card has half of a picture, 4 of them. You'll see if you've been here before or you know this deck. It's a Russian divination deck. It's laid out in a grid, and the grid is going to take up pretty much this whole area. So that is why the camera is so far back. It is the only way to get everything in the pictures. So we are asking about the week ahead. The most important things the collective needs to know for the week ahead. What's going on? Because right now I feel like there's a lot going on. I do record these a little bit in the time of this in the past. But yeah, I do that also to keep, even if I have to take some time off for life, I still can like put up stuff on a regular schedule. So, all right, anyways, make sure we get this little corner one right. So as you can see, there's 4 pictures, half of a picture on each card. And depending on the orientation of it, if the pictures line up, they can be 4 different places, orientations. And depending on that, to make sure I put the first row down correctly, depending on that, changes their meaning. Each picture has a general meaning. Oh, no, those are right there. But their orientation changes the meaning. And you'll see as kind of we go along if you're new or you're not familiar with this deck. I try to match as I go. Everyone reads a little different, so some people prefer to lay everything out and then match. I prefer to do it as I go. Ooh, okay. Interesting. Okay. So I remember most of the general meanings of these. Oh, wow. Okay, you got 3. Yeah. All right, you got Rytho. That's a Norse rune. We have 2 Celtic runes. It's interesting because Rytho is also, it's a rune of movement, journey, change, something. And the hearse, the general meaning of the hearse is something to do with health. It's usually kind of a like, hey, this is important. And we have the Celtic runes, oh my goodness, brain, for peace, support, strength, and endurance. Okay. Okie dokie dokie. Let's keep going. Not necessarily getting anything on that yet. Sometimes, you never know, things pop up. Things pop up. And always at the end, I try to take some time to just stare deeply into the grid. And I always cut that out because nobody needs to see like a minute and a half of silence of me just intensely staring. It's like, no, we don't need that. Okay, let's see. No, nothing there. Also have to make sure to do, because again, as long as it's directly across or beside, can change it. Nope, that's the moon. Castle. Nope, Lily's over there. No. Every time I say this, I'm like, man, they're not very talkative. We had one read where like 6 or 7 pictures lined up. That was a long read. That sometimes that happens, and that's okay. Those do tend to be long reads, so it was definitely over an hour. But that happens sometimes. There was a lot of messages coming through. But ooh, we got the money, which, surprising no one, the general meaning of the money picture is, in fact, money. So that's always nice. Ooh, all right, we got 2. Ooh, we have Gebo and Isa. That one we'll have to check, because I know the general meaning with a gift, the rune of the gift, Gebo, which is awesome. Isa is a rune of slowness. It's the ice rune of like slowing down. But depending on, because right now this picture is in its 2nd position. There's, again, 4 positions that, depending on its rotation. Like right now this one is upside down, so it's in its 4th position. So those tend to tweak the meaning a little bit. Okay. Let's see. Got the house. Nope. Oh. We do. The heron. See, I say that. I'm like, man, not many things are coming out. And then a bunch of pictures come out. It never fails. Not come out. They line up. Oh, 1. Hagalaz. Ooh, okay. Definitely will look into this one very deeply, because the heron can also be a change of location. A change can deal with matters of the home, and right now it's in the 3rd position. Hagalaz is the rune of, kind of has Uranus energy, a little bit of the tower in there, where it's like the disruptor. So that'll be interesting as well. Let's see. Nope. That one's got a card in between. Doesn't count. Doesn't count. Shake. Birds. Nope. Birds. Clover. Castle. Don't see anything there. And some people, I'm sure, if you're watching this and you see something lining up, you're like, oh my god, why did you see it? I see the pictures I'm meant to see. And I've absolutely been in the middle of a read and seen a picture line up. And then so you just stop and line them up. Like, it happens. So please don't stress. If something is lining up and you see it and I don't, it happens. Ooh, we got the horseshoe. Horseshoe, yay. All right, get in there. Nope, that's... Any others? Nope, I think that's it for that one. Oh, okay. No, that one felt a little... I had like a couple and then like some of them fell out. Let's shake that up really good again. Okay. Oh, we got 3. Okay, let's see. There's Awaz and... Iwaz and Awaz. This one is... Iwa. This was Iwaz. It's the rune of defense. I'm still not 100% on some of their names, on like the pronunciation. I do not speak Nordic, so there's that. So ooh, interesting. We have death, cycles, rebirth, and wisdom with the horseshoe. Now the clover is the one for luck. I'm trying to remember the horseshoe. I've only been reading for these for like freaking ever, and I still don't. Ooh, okay, we got the sun. Now in this case where we already have one lined up, if I were to twist this one and they were to match up, they'd be in the first position facing upright. So I'm going to put a rune on the one to remind me that there is something there. Ooh, wound and healing. No, that one's with a dog. Nope, that one's up there. Let's see. Oh, here's another example. Same thing. If this one was to turn, so these would line up, it'd be facing upright. Again, I was like, man, there's not much on. It's boom. There it goes. Radiance, growth, wheel, and movement, which is interesting because we have Rytho over here with the hearse on the path, the picture for the path. Ooh, some big changes coming for y'all. Alright, so on the last card, no matter what happens on the board, on the last card, you always read all of the pictures upright. Sometimes some of the pictures will line up with something else, and you do something a little different for that, but you typically always read them upright. So I'm going to get a lot of runes coming out. Wow. Usually it's like one or two. Some of these, most of these have at least two. All right, so we have Sowilo. Oh. Sowilo is the sun. It's victory and power and all kinds of awesome stuff. So then we have these two Celtic runes. Beginnings and Epiphanies, Persuasion and Communication. Very interesting. Okay. I'm going to take a minute and stare deeply into this. I'll be right back in a moment. Okay. All right. Let's grab our affirmation card, and then we'll dive into our read. So the card says, this has come out before when I've done some of these. You might doubt it'll happen, but what if it effing does? And that is what it says. I love that. Okay, so this week might be a little intense. If there's something, I don't want to say that you've been doubting. That one flipped to the side. Come here. All right. That you've been like doubting will happen, or it's interesting that in the last card here you have the little demons, because those represent negative subconscious thoughts, the stories we tell ourselves either from projections of other people. You know, it's that negative self-talk that's very detrimental to your psyche. And so if you're having maybe a wobble, if you will, or you're just like, well, I really want to do this. I really want this to happen, but I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know. And I had this message. I listen to other tarot readers on YouTube, and I definitely got this message this morning. So I don't know if some of this is calling me out as well, of like, oh, these things, you know, I want these things to happen. You know, you're working towards something, but there's this like little negative commentary happening inside your head, but it's like, oh, but you're not ready for it. Like, what if it actually happens? How would you even? Like, those kinds of very detrimental self-talks. So it's interesting that that comes out. So it's like you might doubt, or that little voice might be like, meh, 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 in your ear. But have confidence of like, but what if it does? Like, look at the positive side of it, of just like, you know what, I am ready for this. You know what, the thing that I want, the thing that I'm using myself as an example, but the thing that you have been trying to manifest, what if it does happen? Like, look at it from the excitement of like your inner child, of like, yeah, but what if it does? And like feed into that excitement, not the fear and anxiety, but the excitement of what if it does? Which is easy to say, difficult to do in execution. So absolutely, like, always do what you can. Treat yourself kindly. You know, sometimes you have that self-talk come in. Getting our tarot deck ready. Sometimes you have that self-talk come in, and it can be very exhausting to keep trying to change that, like stopping the thought and being like, hey, I know you're trying to protect me. I understand what you're trying to do, but that's not useful right now. And like, it is very tiring. It is a lot, but the more you do it, and I can speak from experience, the more that you do it, it becomes a little more second nature. Each time you do it, you get into the habit of taking that thought, thanking it, correcting it, and like giving it a fruit snack and letting it go sit in the corner. But it's like, no, you're not helpful right now. You can have a timeout. Give it those little mental fruit snacks. All right. I know we're going to be pulling some tarot cards. We're just going to leave that right there. All right, let's grab the book, because my brain is a steel sieve. So the hearse. I know the hearse up here, number 8, talks about your physical and emotional state. In its 4th position, it says you will escape danger in time. Which actually in this deck, typically the 4th position is like the most challenging energy. In this card, it's actually the least challenging in the 4th position. So that's an excellent thing to get. Peace, support, strength, endurance, and Rytho. A change. And we were just talking about like your emotional state. Like having those little maybe little pep talks, but like speaking to yourself in a kind manner, like gentle parenting your inner thoughts almost. This book is a little flowery in its language, so sometimes, give me a sec. Okay, so basically it's saying don't take chances emotionally or physically. It's interesting that you have peace and support up there. So something like protecting your peace, getting support where you need it, like your strength and endurance, and not just physically, but mentally as well. Oh, wow. Okay, we just got 3 out of the gate. The Hierophant. Ooh, okay. Wow, the Wheel of Fortune. And the Emperor. You got 3 major arcanas in a row. Okay. Wow. It's so interesting that it's, again, it says like you will escape danger in time, and this is like your physical and emotional state. Something, excuse me, confirmation burp. 2 confirmation burps. Woo. Something in your journey right now, if you are going through something with your health, like your physical health, again, we have the Emperor, we have the Wheel, something is changing, something is shifting. And it feels like this journey you're on, in your physical state, in your emotional state, or both, something is shifting. And I feel like it's shifting, like there's a sense of like, this is a big shift. And because it's like, if it's your body, if it's like your physical state of health, your mental health, it's something very personal and very internal, both physically and metaphorically. It's something very internal that's shifting, but it's shifting at the right time. It's shifting in time. Perhaps for what else is going on down here, there's a lot happening here. So perhaps the beginning of the week, you have this internal mental shift. Again, one or the other or both. Everybody is going to be a little different. And this is part of your path. We have the Hierophant here with this person kind of with the staircase going up. And it could be part of this support coming in is also from perhaps a professional, a medical professional, a mental health professional. There could be some kind of even breakthrough happening. And I love that strength and endurance, the Celtic rune for strength and endurance, which is this one. That one came through because with the Emperor, that also is an affirmation about how freaking strong you are mentally and physically. And I mean, maybe you do lift weights or something, but I'm just thinking of someone with like a chronic illness and they're just so mentally and physically strong. That doesn't mean they don't have bad days. That doesn't mean that they don't struggle mentally, emotionally, physically. But yeah, there's something in there that's like you are getting the support, you have the support, and you realize that you have so much strength. You really do. So that's a wonderful affirmation. And with Rytho, again, the rune, the Norse rune of like journey and movement, this realization or this turning point makes a shift in your journey. Because it's interesting, this one came first, and then you have all of this happening down here. Something here is like, I don't want to say like a linchpin, but it's definitely influencing the rest of your week. And I really feel a long-term influence, because again, we have the 3 major arcana up here, which y'all saw me shuffle. Those 3 just came out together. Boom. So that is fascinating. It really, really is. And it's also a testament, again, it's a testament to you. It really is. So I don't know if someone needed to just hear that. You needed that pep talk from the universe, but I just get the sense you're doing a great job. You're doing great. Sometimes I know it may not feel like it. Sometimes you feel like you take 1 step forward, you take 3 steps back, but you're doing good. You're doing great. Yeah, I don't know what else to say besides that. All right, we'll move on. 29. 29 is money, which is definitely in our late stage capitalistic society essential. So I'm always checking my camera. We had issues with it a couple weeks ago. It was very annoying. I think I figured out the problem, but all right, anyways. So money, if you haven't guessed. In its second position, pointing this way, it says, you will find success or profit in an undertaking. Interesting. This card, I don't know, for some reason I just suddenly glanced over to it. It says, you might doubt it'll happen, but what if it does? I get the sense that something's coming in that will have a direct impact on your wealth and finances. Obviously, we're talking about money here. In a profit or undertaking. Maybe there's an opportunity that comes. Again, we have Gebo, the gift. It's good fortune, generosity. So maybe this is an opportunity. Ooh, excuse me. That could also be related, again, to this big mental, physical shift you have. Where you're like, yes, you know what? Yes, I can do this. Isa here, again, this was like slow. Maybe things have felt stagnant. Again, I think of ice, I think of glaciers, like the phrase like things moving at a glacial pace, like really, really slow. But you've had so much patience with it. Glaciers, in a way, are extremely patient. Like, they're patient on a geological level of patience. They're moving. Technically, glaciers do move, but, they're glaciers. So this is something I feel like it's been moving very slow. Maybe even it's felt maybe even stagnant for you. But something is coming in to change that. All right, that card stuck. There was one stuck to the table. So we have 3 of Cups. So there could be... Oh, the Queen of Cups. This is definitely something to celebrate. Yeah, the Queen of Cups. And with the 3 of Cups, like both of those, we're in our emotions here with the Cups. And we were talking about an emotional change, like emotional, mental, physical. This is something you celebrate, but celebrate with like close friends. I'm seeing the 3 figures here. And the Queen of Cups, this is something that the queens are energies, they're not genders. So this is something you're receiving, and it's a big emotional boon. There's even maybe healing there of like, you know what, I can. You know what, I was so patient and I stuck with it. Like, yes, this is a gift, but at the same time, I've been working towards it. All right, can we get one more just to clarify, please? And the Page of Cups. Yeah, this is an opportunity coming in. And okay, so this card has this little pig in the corner. So it's literally, again, going back to our affirmation card of like, oh, it'll happen when pigs fly. Well, guess what? The pigs are flying. You have a little piggy right up there in the corner. flying away. So guess what? Pigs are flying now. I freaking love that. All right, Heron 17. Back. Yeah, the Heron, so its general meaning is new beginnings and change. And in its third position, it says a change in relations with friends. Ooh, okay. Let me take a little peek here at the book, because again, it's very flowery. Okay, so it's basically saying like there's a change in like a friend dynamic, and this could be friends who are chosen family, this could be maybe a friend who's an acquaintance. I get the sense with Hagelas here though that it's perhaps someone who is very close to you. With Hagelas, again, that's the great disruptor. It's Uranus, it's the tower, it's things fundamentally shifting in your relationship with someone. All right, let's get some clarification here, please. Can we know? Ooh, the Hermit. Shout out to my Virgos. It's a Virgo card. Ten of Swords. There could be someone or something you're walking away from. And with the Hermit, I don't feel like this is something out of the blue. This could be something you've kind of seen coming. And it could be directly a cause and effect. I don't want to say it's because, but like the cause and effect of, let's say a great opportunity comes, your financial situation changes, something shifts that perhaps this person or people see this instead of like an overnight success, not, maybe they do know that you've been working at this for a very, very long time. But maybe it's, I don't know, it's just the phrase like it's something they can't handle, not you, but they can't handle. Like maybe they preferred it when you were in this different energy before the shift happened. Maybe they liked it better then for whatever reason. Like it could have been, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an example. I'm getting the idea of like, let's say your roommate, and you're the one, let's say you have the smaller, it's a 2-bedroom apartment, and you have the smaller room, but you kind of make up the rent, and you, not make up the rent, what am I saying? Let's say like you're the person in this living situation that, takes care of the cooking and the cleaning, and that's just something you do. And then your financial situation changes. You're like, oh my God, I'm moving. And the Heron is like new beginnings, change. And, you're like, oh, I really want to move. I want to move for my career. I want to move, to be closer to family, or something happens where you're like, Hagelas is this big change. This big shift happens. Again, this cause and effect. And they're like, no, you can't leave. Who's going to do all the cooking and cleaning for me? And you're like, whoa, hey, again, this is an example. But I know I've maybe speaking a little too bit from experience here, but they suddenly start projecting their insecurities, or, they're secret, I don't know, secretly, but they become jealous, or again, there's something in the relationship that fundamentally shifts. And unfortunately, wealth and money can do that. And it's not necessarily, it can be, but it's not necessarily on the person it happens to. Sometimes it happens to the people around that person. It's like they start seeing them in a different light. All right, but it's the Ten of Swords, I don't know, it gets the sense that, ooh, yeah, this is not something kind of out of the blue. This is something you've seen coming. Nope. Jets. Please hold. Okay. They've retreated for now. So anyways, it's Yeah, I get the sense that this is not something out of the blue. This is something you've kind of felt either intuitively or seen through perhaps actions, that this is something kind of a long time coming. Either way, you're going to gain insight to how this person or people feel or how they operate. And that is going to fundamentally shift your relationship. I mean, it will. Could we please get some clarification about this situation? This is perhaps something or someone that you didn't want to see this side of them, even if you knew it was there. You may have felt it intuitively coming. You may have been like, oh, they wouldn't do that. But something about the truth is exposed. And it's no longer looking in the mirror. See, this person's there's two figures here. She's not bound in any capacity, but this here, and a lot of swords right here. We have 3 swords. And then this is what they're imagining. This is kind of what's in their head. So it may have been something that you didn't want to see. You didn't want to see coming, even if you kind of felt it. Spirit source, what can they do in this case? 7 of Cups. Well, it's basically saying you have options. But be careful. Sometimes there's snakes in the grass, if you pardon the phrase. The choice is ultimately yours, how you deal with this situation. But take a moment. This person is kind of taking a moment before they decide. And remember to be responsive and not reactive, especially with Cups here. With this emotional side of things, the mental and emotional side, take a moment and respond. Don't react. Because you don't know what's kind of hiding in the mist. A little snakey, a little danger noodle. All right. Okay. Horseshoe. Ooh, I couldn't remember. I was like, what's the name of that? 28. Horseshoe. Here we go. Success. All right. I was like, I know the clover is luck. So the horseshoe is success. It's in the 3rd position. The 3rd position says your desires will be fulfilled, which is very interesting with the rune of defense here. Iwas. Death cycles and rebirth. You may need to let go of something. With this success, again, we were looking at the money here. There could be an instance, again, how this situation fundamentally changes the relationship. And I feel like, again, I don't feel this is a reflection on you. I feel like this is a reflection on the other people. Death, cycles, rebirth, and wisdom. I think you learn a very important lesson from this. About putting up your boundaries and who you let into your circle, your group of people. I feel like you're able now to discern more of who should be a part of that inner circle. Who has access to you at an emotional level, even an intellectual level. Yeah. I think from here on out, you're going to trust more both your wisdom from your experiences, noticing patterns, especially dealing with people, noticing certain patterns, certain traits that might tip you off that maybe this person or people don't have necessarily your best interests in mind. Yeah. I think there's a new cycle of your outlook on people, on just who you let in. So let's get some cards, if we can, to clarify this. Yeah, the World. Okay, that's... Ooh. And again, this person is surrounded by an... What is it called? Ouroboros? It's the snake eating its own tail. There's a boundary there. There's a very set boundary around this person. And from within, they're very protected. They're protected in their wisdom. They're protected in their power. They have a clear boundary. I mean, it's hard not to see a giant snake eating its own tail. Like, they have a very clear boundary. And in a way, it's a end and a beginning. Hagalaz with that tower energy of something kind of coming to an end. The World is the last of the major arcana cards. So and we have death cycles, rebirth here. So there's a big cycle kind of concluding. The Fool. Wow, you're getting a lot of majors. Very similar color scheme as well in these two cards. Yeah, so you got the last major and the first major. And in the order they came out in, it feels like an end is a beginning. Things that are ending here, things that are shifting, are meant to shift. Even if it's closing out a chapter of your life, even if there's a shift of relationships, there's boundaries now set in place, something is fundamentally shifting and ending. I think with the Ten of Swords, yeah, there's things that are ending. The Wheel of Fortune, which is the middle. So the first, last, and the middle. But things are shifting. So things can end, so something can begin. And I feel, again, it's interesting that the Fool came out right here where the money pile was. This opportunity coming in is like a new start. It's a leap of faith as well on your part. That's really awesome. That's a lot, though. That is a lot. But again, we had strength and endurance with Hearse up here. In your journey, you are stronger than you think. Very, very much so. All right. Let's get the Sunshine. Number 31. 31. Nope, that's 32. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. There we go. The Sun, the general meaning is warmth and strength of character, which we were just talking about. So in the first position up right here, it's prosperity, flourishment, life's caresses, happiness. Again, very flowery language. But it's the sunshine, it's joy. And I love that you got the Celtic rune for wounds and healing. This journey you're going on this week, this is a lot happening in a week. The journey you're going on this week is very healing. And we were talking about with the cups up here and the money pile, this is something, I feel like it's like something you've been manifesting either starts, perhaps it's the beginning stages of it, or does like fully manifest. But one way or another, there's this affirmation that happens, this confirmation that happens. And that is very healing, where it's like, you know what? I can do this. You know, it's I can do this. Absolutely. And we've been talking about that this whole read. Like, yes, I can. Ooh, Page of Swords. This is... Swords is a mental suit, but it can also be communications. It's the air. The element of air. Alright, can we get... Ooh, Two of Wands. Yeah, again, this sense of... Well, I was talking as a metaphorical kind of example of, let's say, like, you know, the whole moving situation with, like, a roommate. But the Two of Wands, there very much could be a move. Or, again, this is the Two of Wands. And you can see they have, like, a little globe down here, and there's, like, a little Volkswagen bus picture. You could have the ideas of moving, of like where you want to go from here. Again, the wound healing, the flourishment, life's caresses. Like you're just ready to go out into the world and do this. Two of Swords. The Two of Wands and the Two of Swords. that's where I feel like we were talking about, like, those negative inner voices coming in and either talking about doubts, talking about basically talking you down, talking down to you, not talking you down, talking down to you and what you're capable of, and like giving it that thing like, I see you, I hear you, I know in the past maybe you were trying to keep me safe. Maybe, you know, this negative inner voice is, you know, just, they're like annoying birds flying around your head. Again, with the Eight of Swords up here, you know, but just giving him those fruit snacks. Maybe they're birds. I don't know. Maybe giving him a cup of birdseed and putting in the corner and be like, you know what? No, I thank you, but no. This could be one of those things that's part of that process, that wound healing, where it's like you've been making so much progress and now you have to actually put it into place. Put it into place. Maybe putting it in place. Maybe you have tools or a method or something where you implement the tools you've learned to kind of help manage that raging inner critic or the self-doubt. And now is the time you get to choose the Two of Wands or the Two of Swords. Do you look to the future? Do you look to what is possible? Or do you listen to the angry crows fluttering inside your head? I love crows. I think crows are awesome. The King of Pentacles, yeah. I very much get the sense that, I don't want to say this is a trial or a test, but it's more of you've made so much progress in learning your inner world, your physical world, and now it's time to implement it. And that is part of your healing. And part of your healing in that capacity is going to lead to the King of Pentacles. Again, we were looking at, you know, money, gifts, things that once were stagnant, moving forward. Okay. All right, and then we have the Road, which is 22. A lot of twos. 2, 2, 2, 2. Twos might be a little sign for you. Nope, too far. Haha. That was unintentional. Your path in life. So yeah. Which is great because you got radiance and growth. So like the path in your life is growing. In the first position here, because again, if the pictures had turned, it'd be in the first position, is a happy path or road. And again, radiance and growth, wheel, movement, things are moving forward. You're going from glacial, a glacier, to movement, to growth. I don't know, I don't think that's that much clearer. So, Eight of Cups. Part of that is going to be walking away, but walking away into something amazing. Nope, the jet's coming back around. What are you doing? I don't think they know what they're doing either. Okay. I don't think I need to pull any more cards for that. I feel like that's pretty straightforward. Actually, all of these have been very straightforward. Yeah, okay, we're gonna jump to the last card. All right, so the last card, I'm gonna move this up here. It's a little easier to maneuver. The last card, you read all of the images in their upright position. And we have the rune, again, of Sowilo, which is success and power. It's the sun. And again, we have the sun down here with wounds and healing, but also like happiness and joy and communication, persuasion and communications. We were talking about maybe something in communications. Maybe you work in communications, you use your voice, or you're a writer, or something in that capacity where you are communicating. It could even be through images, the communication arts, if you will. Storyboards, comic books, you know, anything that uses pictures or pictorial sequence to explain something, to show a story, that's a communication. So, anyways, all right. So yeah, there's something I feel in communications that's very important. And the beginnings. We have beginnings here. We've had a lot of something ending so something can begin. That was very, very clear here. All right, we will start with number 5, the wood pile. Going back to the very beginning. Ooh. Okay, so remember we had the hearse here with like your health, something happening, but you're making that change in time. I think that was the message in that that 4th position, was like you something is changed in time. Like there's timing involved there. So the wood pile, firewood, is about your physical health. And in its first position, which is, again, we're reading all of these in the first position, it's the last card, it's a good state of health. I don't think I can get any clearer than that. So whatever you're doing, whatever you have done, or maybe the habits you've put in place, both mentally and physically, because everything's connected, you know, your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health, your spiritual health, all of that is very much connected. Whatever you're doing, don't stop. Because clearly it's having a good long-term effect. All right, so let's get just one card here. Ooh, the Knight of Wands. Okay, I feel like going forward, you have this reignited, I don't know, reignited, but I can't see, yeah, reignited kind of passion. And it's interesting, we have firewood here and the Knight of Wands. Wands is fire. So yeah, there's something I feel like that sparks your spirit, sparks your soul moving forward. Yeah, especially with your physical health. Again, I feel like it everything is all connected. And maybe you realize that. Maybe you come to some kind of realization about a routine, or maybe even tools that you use, like for yourself mentally, for yourself emotionally, even spiritually, you know, something in your practice perhaps that you're like, okay, moving forward, this is what I want to do, this is what I got to do to maintain my stability, to maintain my health, my overall health. Cool. All right. That's awesome. That is very cool. All right. 47 is our little demons. Yeah. So subconscious negative thought is the symbol for that picture. In the first position, it says, do not listen to cunning whispers wishing to hurt you, which is your subconscious negative thoughts. Again, the book is very flowery in its language. And we have Sawila here, the sun, the power, the success. Again, we have the sun here, beginnings. And I feel like you're getting a handle. You have the tools. You clearly have been developing the tools. You're implementing them. And going forward, you're able to not deal with, but manage that inner critic, those negative thoughts. The Page of Wands. Okay, with the Knight of Wands and the Page of Wands. So very fiery energy, very sun energy. Wow, yeah. And I love that they're just tossing this staff up in the air, just like very carefree. You have the tools now. You have the tools now also to communicate with others and yourself. So maybe even with communication here, this is something that you can talk about. Maybe not freely, but certainly talk about to others. Maybe there's something there you can help others. I don't know. Can I get another card for that? Okay. We have death with big cycle. Yeah, this is a big shift. And I feel like it feels like something very small, but actually in the long run is very big. Something that perhaps you haven't seen is how far you have come. Just how much healing you have done. How much work you've done on yourself. And that is, I don't want to say triggering, but that is like, again, that cause and effect. Like those small steps you've been making over a long period of time, Hierophant here, we have all those steps leading up. All those little steps add up. They add up to something big. So whether that manifests as like you being a teacher or, you know, speaking about it to help other people perhaps conquer their little inner critic demons, or it's something that you show through example. Again, Page of Wands, this person is flipping up a staff. They're showing through their actions. You know, regardless, it is something that it may feel small, but actually will have a big impact. Cool. All right, 14 is our fox. We have a fuzzy butt of a fox. So the fox in this deck is the general meaning for deceit. In its first position, it says you are being cunningly deceived, which is interesting because we talked about like this person, this situation, people here. And with the sun, the rune for the sun, so Willow, and we have beginnings and epiphany are for this, the Celtic rune. There could be part of that epiphany. We talked about, you know, that something is coming to light, something is shifting. The sun, yeah, something is coming to light, and something is communicated. Ooh, the 10 of Pentacles. The 10 of Pentacles is kind of this, again, Pentacles, it's your physical resources, your money, so it could be both like your health, your wealth, and something is coming to light dealing with a person or people. Knight of Swords. Yeah, something is revealed. Something is communicated. However it is communicated. Again, that could be part of the respond, don't react. But I feel like whatever it is taken care of quickly. The Knight of Swords. Fastest knight in the deck. Fastest card. Well, maybe not the fastest card. There's a couple cards that have like that fast-moving energy. The Knight of Swords is one of them. But something is very swiftly and succinctly, I feel, communicated. And you are able to kind of make that call about how best to protect your independence, your, I almost said sovereignty? I don't know. I mean, we do the Emperor up here, and the Queen of Cups, but I mean, reign on, my sovereign supreme, gender neutral. Like, yeah, the Knight of Pentacles, like, it's something that is communicated, and you're like, okay, you know what, going forward, I know how to protect my peace. Yeah, the Magician. Going forward, you know both how to manifest and also how to protect your sacred self, both in the physical and in the spiritual, the mental, emotional, like all of the aspects. You know how to best protect yourself. Okay, so 20 is the Forest. I'm trying to remember. I think that's like people around you. Yes, it is. Hey. All right, so the Forest here, number 20, is the people around you, which, ooh, interesting. We were just talking about this. Okay, so it's upright meaning, the first position, is continuous friendship with many worthwhile people. People who have a similar mindset to you, a similar path to you. It's interesting because we were talking about the shift in a challenging aspect. I don't want to say negative because I feel like it's teaching a very important lesson. May not be a fun lesson, but it's an important lesson. And we've all been there about the messiness of human emotions, especially when they're not addressed, or if you know, you know. Anyways. So it's interesting that we had this very challenging aspect with a shift in relationship with a person, people, a situation. But that shift enlightens you. Enlightens you? Brings... Okay, we're just going to roll with it. That shift enlightens you about who you let into your space, into your circle. Right. Ooh, Justice. I like this Justice card because it has an upright, but its reverse is kind of that shadowy aspect. Yeah, I think I think this card is actually, I'm seeing both sides, like this reverse and upright, where the people you let in, this, again, the scales here, it's much more balanced. Perhaps in the past, and again, we've all been there. Man, life is messy, and sometimes we have to learn by the people who come into your life and teach you something very important about yourself, about the world at large, about a lot of different things. But I feel like going forward, you're much more balanced and discerning about who you let in. And the people who have left, the people who you've perhaps even cut out, she has a sword here, the people you've placed boundaries with, we were talked about boundaries at one point, those people will have their own justice, but it's not up to you to deliver it. They come to that on their own. Yeah, Ace of Cups. So at this point, just let them go. I think that's the kindest thing you can do, is just whoever you've cut out, let go. And whoever you're letting in, again, Ace of Cups, a lot of emotions here. Whoever you're letting in into your heart space is very cherished. And I feel like very, very lucky as well. So Willow, the sun, you have a very warm energy. All right. Ooh, and at the bottom, we have a lot of cups. Bottom of the deck, 9 of Cups. There's a lot happening this week. But I feel like a lot of very important things happening. And ultimately, you're going to come out of this week much more balanced. And I think with a clearer direction about yourself going forward, and perhaps even who is coming with you. And you're moving forward in a wish energy, into a manifestation energy of, this is what I want, this is what I'm going for, this is what's starting for me, and I'm going to go for it. I'm not going to listen to that negative inner critic. We don't have to listen to them anymore. You have the tools in which to do that. And this all wraps up again with the affirmation card. You might doubt it'll happen, but what if it effing does? I love that. Okay, so I feel like that is your week ahead. It's a lot. It is a lot, but don't freak out. Remember to breathe, ground yourself, do what you have to do to take care of yourself. Take a step back if you need to. Remember to respond and not react. That's something I'm learning myself. So I'm right there with you, learning that very important lesson. All right. So thank you so much. We do have a buy me a coffee. So you can go, and I think it's $5 a month. And I think we have like 30 or so videos up there now, but we post there like 3 times a week. So there's a ton of videos on that available for people. Also, please like and subscribe. And yeah, if you vibed with things here, or you just like the general vibe, it's super helpful to the channel, and I appreciate it so, so, so much. Okay, so until next time, take care of yourself, stay safe, and I love you, okay? Bye-bye.